We are in the habit of shifting blame to the West, to the colonial masters, to the slave trade, and to the biased financial systems that are being set up by the West. Financial systems like the IMF and the World Bank. But we forget to highlight some of the domestic issues that we need to address. If the Europeans, or in general, we like to say white people, are exploiting us today in Africa, is because of some of these weaknesses that we need to address. Why can America or the European Union not go inside China and influence the Chinese people, or go inside Russia and influence the Russian people? It is because they have come a long way as a society to develop these qualities and to work on these things that I'm about to tell you about. The reason why us Africans still remain in poverty today, even though they have Africans who are extremely wealthy, who are even wealthier than the Europeans and the Americans, but for some reasons, the majority of us black people remain in poverty. Africa is a land of abundance, but us black people are the poorest, the most disrespected, and the most mistreated all across the globe. Why is this happening? Some of the major reasons why this is happening in the first place does not have anything to do with Europeans or Westerners. We are so comfortable and we are used to casting blame and shifting responsibility when it comes to our poverty and where we are today as a people. We are used to saying it is because of the colonial masters we are where we are today. Yes, there is some degree of truth to that, but majority or most of the other factors that give these Europeans way or even a possibility of exploiting us is because of the weaknesses that we have within our societies as Africans. Us as Africans, we are stuck in this poverty syndrome. We are so eager to get out of poverty that we are willing to sell our relative, we are willing to sell our people, we are willing to sell our community, to sell our children to get out of this poverty. It is because of this poverty syndrome our politicians are selfish, they embezzle state funds, they send their kids, their family, their loved ones to elite universities, and they give them the best life possible at the detriment of millions of Africans. It is because of this poverty syndrome we lack a clear vision to really see the problems and tackle them from the grassroots. Lack of education is another major problem that we need to solve in Africa. We do not expect our colonial masters to create a curriculum that is going to liberate us completely from their chains. You see, our educational systems or our educational curriculum in Africa is not set, or it does not match with our growing demands in the modern world. We need to reform our educational systems in Africa so that we will be able to bring or create African solutions to our African problems. Another major problem we have in Africa is our lack of responsibility. We want the Europeans and the Americans, or in general the whites, to take care of us. We rely on their aids and their NGO organizations to feed our people and to run our states. How can we rely on donations from other governments? A government, in another term, the way I see it, my people, is like a family. Your government is a family. If you allow other families to feed your kids and clothe them, they have possibility of talking to your kids any way they want and treating them in whatever manner they desire. Because at the end of the day, the head of their home cannot provide. The head of their home cannot defend and protect them. Because they rely on their neighbors for everything, for medicine, for security, for food, for education. So how can we be truly liberated as a people if we do not want to take responsibility of our problems? if we do not want to tackle them as Africans. Let's stop the blame game. Let's take up and try to be responsible as a people. And let's stop the reliance on Western aid, because it is not a smart way to live, my people. It is because of lack of vision that Africa is still underdeveloped today. It is intertwined with a lack of education. It is because of lack of education we are not able to see the bigger picture. We are lack the vision to see that unity is power. Today, Sierra Leone will go and negotiate with a power like America or China, or tomorrow a state like Zimbabwe will want to confront America. It is impossible. Zimbabwe is a city in a country like America or Sierra Leone. So it is impossible for Sierra Leone or Zimbabwe or Kenya only to face these guys. It is because of our lack of vision the African Union is still ineffective today. We talk about the African Union every year. They create this summit. It's just for photos, but they really do not take any actions to implement the thoughts or the discussions that they really have in this summit. Here in this corner, we will highlight some of these problems. And if you are enjoying this video so far, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to this channel as I bring daily videos. And please, if you have an idea or something that you really want to highlight to us as a community, please let us know in the comment section and we can discuss about it as a community. Africans do not have a clear spiritual compass. Let's take an example. The Indians, they have their religions and they have millions of Indians who follow these religions. In China, it is the same thing. In Russia, they have their Orthodox Christianity. It is a form of Christianity, but in Russian style. In Europe, they have their Roman Catholic, Anglican, and the Protestants. All of these different kinds of Christianity, you see, are related to different European cultures. They accept the Holy Gospel, but they tweaked it or they arranged it to fit their cultural narrative. They made the religion in a way to align with their cultural values. It is only us, Africa, we do not have a religion. We allowed other people to come in our home. We allow other families, because I like to use family analogy when I'm talking about states, because states represents people and it is a collection of families that make a state. If we choose one family to represent us, the collective families in a geographical location, like for example, Ghana, it is the responsibility of that family to bargain for us in our best interest. It is not for that family to take advantage of the power we have given them. Our people had other religions in Africa before we came in contact with the Europeans and the Arabs. And these ways of life, these traditions, and these religions were developed over time. Religion to me is a way of life and a set of moral codes that a nation or a group of people decide to follow. For us Africans, we allowed other people to come and demonize what we have developed for hundreds of years or thousands of years. We allowed the Europeans to demonize our ancestors and their way of life. And we allowed the Europeans to destroy what they have built for thousands of years. It's because of our lack of spiritual compass or our lack of spiritual guidance, our lack of spiritual knowledge that we are enslaved today as Africans. We do not really know who we are and we do not know what we have contributed to civilization. And we do not even have people who really trust in African spirituality. They think it's evil, it's satanic, it's backward. But I am sure somewhere in the Vatican they are practicing it. or they have knowledge of these spiritual practices and they know the advantages of such practices. But they use their media and they use their soft power to keep us in cages, and they keep us separated, and they keep us misinformed and enslaved. Tribalism and regionalism are a major factor of our poverty in Africa, and we need to highlight these issues and come to a consensus together as a people on how we should move forward as one. It is because of our lack of unity, and it's because of our diversity and our richness in culture that the European was able to infiltrate and separate us. We have come a long way as Africans, even though our educational system is being suppressed and our curriculum are not properly arranged to serve our needs. But for us that have the will and the ambition to achieve these goals, I take it as my responsibility. I have made this as my life goal, as my life's purpose, to highlight some of these problems that we are facing as Africans, so we can come together as a people and create African solutions to African problems. It is because of tribalism that the Europeans and the colonial masters were able to separate us. So, my people, tribalism does not make sense. Tribalism have not served us any good since the days of our ancestors, my people. It was because of this same tribalism we were fighting wars among each other, and we were holding each other as prisoners of war. It was because of this same tribalism the Europeans were buying our brothers as prisoners of wars, as slaves, and we did not care to sell them because of the hate we have. It is this tribalism that they have used to keep us under. Let us find ways to walk past it, my people. Let us be smart. Africa should stop relying on the European aid or the IMF or the American aid or the aid package coming from the Chinese. We are wealthy in natural resources, we are wealthy in manpower. Africans are strong, we are healthy, we are fast, and we survive in tougher conditions more than any other race. But how comes we are still poor? Is our lack of responsibility. We do not want to take responsibility of our problems. We do not want to find solutions for our problems. We are used to waiting for a savior, a white man coming from nowhere to come and save us. We need to stop waiting for the savior to come to save Africa, like they show us in religious texts like the Bible, for a white man with wings coming from heaven to save us from all of our problems, our poverty, and take us to the promised land in heaven. Let us break this mental chain as Africans and take responsibility for our future, because our future depends on it. They do not respect us in the world today. There is nowhere in the world where black people are treated with dignity unless in Africa. The moment you leave the continent of Africa, you are a slave, you are worthless, you are a piece of shit. Because of what we do in Africa ourselves as Africans, that's why they treat us as such. These other families, they have come a long way and they have worked on themselves as a people to realize that these are weaknesses. They see us as incompetent and worthless and useless because we cannot learn. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for having the time to listen to what I have to say as an African brother. If there is something that I forgot to mention, and if there is anything you are experiencing or you have seen that I mentioned in this video, please highlight it in the comment section. And if there is a problem that I forgot to mention in this video, please highlight that as well in the comment section below, so that we can come together as a community and know the problem and create a solution as a community. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the likes so that we can inform the algorithm that videos like this are worth sharing. I pray that God give us peace and unity and good hearts. And God bless us with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Stay blessed.